Is she eating? Is she eating? Is that what the girls say?
What it do, babies? It's your homegirl Zaya Lashani, and today I'm just going to show you how to get a full coverage beat down drugstore edition. You don't need to break the bank in order to look like that girl. So the most important thing is making sure you prime. We need about a dime size amount, and you're gonna go right in your T-zone area. This is a pore minimizing, so it's gonna help fill in the pores and help your foundation lay a lot smoother. For my eyebrows today, I'm just using a random brown pencil that I got from the beauty supply store. Any brown pencil will do. You could even use powder if you wanted to. Do you prefer the feathered brows or do you prefer a carved out brow? The trick to making sure that your eyebrows don't look crazy is making sure you blend down the concealer all the way to your eyelids. So I'm definitely a brush type of girl. I don't prefer beauty blenders, not really for anything other than powder. But yeah, so I'm taking the Real Techniques setting brush and I'm just gonna pat so it can blend into the rest of my skin. I personally feel like using brushes to do your makeup is a lot easier. You just have to be patient. I feel like a lot of girls get caught up in the price of a product versus how the product can be used. So I find that the Milani Perfect and Conceal is a really great drugstore foundation. Pump, 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 and then pump. I always focus the product on the inside of my face and then work my way out. It's a dense kabuki brush. And you want to make sure you're patting the foundation in and not dragging the product. If you want your eyebrows to look more lifted, use a brighter shade. This is LA Pro Conceal in Cool Nude. I spend a lot of time on my eyebrows just because it really frames your face. So sometimes the product gets a little dry, so I'm just gonna refresh my face a little bit with the Morphe setting spray. Let's get into the fun part. I'm gonna use another Milani Cool and Perfect. This is actual beige. So you can conceal with a color that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than you. If you want a dramatic look, 1 to 2 shades if you just want like a subtle look. Drag it down the sides of my nose. We're gonna drag upwards, kind of like how you would do with the wing liner. That's just to lift your face and brighten under your eyes. And then I take some product down the bridge of my nose too. And then whatever is left, I just put it on the sides of my nose. Just take notice to where you see the light. But yeah, so you see triangle. And I like to let that dry down a little bit. And then I go in and just blend the edges. And yes, I use the same setting brush throughout my whole process. You don't need lots of fancy brushes and things like that. When you're blending in a shade that's lighter or darker, you just want to be really intentional with where you're putting the color at. So notice how I'm staying in that triangle. So one corner, the next corner, and then I'm bringing it back down. I'm just gonna blend the edges of that first, and don't drag the product at all. You just want to tap, 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 tap. Like you're literally just tapping, and we're gonna keep tapping until it blends seamlessly. You have to be very patient with this. And there's like an imaginary line right here. You see how that all lines up? The end of your nostril, the end of your eye, and the end of your eyebrow. So you want to stay in that area while you're concealing. Notice how the concealer that I laid down is not too far outside of where I'm blending at. I hope that makes sense. And also I just sprayed some setting spray just because my product was getting a little too dry. Before we move on, I'm going to just marry everything with my foundation brush. Just tap out the edges, make sure everything is blended. We're gonna take another Milani. You would have thought that this was sponsored by Milani. Favorite drugstore foundation. And I'm gonna contour with the color Golden Coffee, adding our contour to where our cheeks hollow at. Our cheekbone's hollow right there. I like to go a little bit above that. I'm gonna go above that so that way I can get the lifted effect. And I'm gonna take this tapered blending brush. I just got it. I don't remember where I got these brushes at, but yeah. So it looks like that. I'm just gonna go right in and pat. You might want to do one side first and then the other, just because when I'm doing my contour, I do not like my products to dry down too fast. I'm gonna put some underneath my nose. I'm taking whatever is left on the brush, on the bridge of my nose, so on both sides. I low-key put a little too much product. I'll show you how I fix that. I'm gonna take a beauty blender and kind of just pick up some of that product. It's not wet, this is dry. You can use a wet one, but I personally like how the dry beauty sponges pick up product. And then we're gonna go back with our foundation brush. That same imaginary line that I was talking about, we can go right along the edges of that line. And also, don't forget your jawline with your bronzer. You don't want your foundation to look like a mask, so make sure you're dragging it all the way down. Next thing, we are gonna take some powder. Today, I'm just gonna use the LA Girl Pro Powder High Definition Setting Powder, and this is in the color, it's like the banana color. It looks like that. Make sure there's no creases, and bow, bow, bow. This is the first powder I do. And we're gonna carve our nose out, contour until you don't have any nostrils. Everywhere that I put a light color, I kind of just brush over with that powder. Next most important step is to take a pressed powder that is your color. While that's baking and marinating, I just go right around it. Like that. But this base goes for everything. No eyeshadow, just some liner and some lashes, just a lip, whatever you need to do. This is the face. And our bronzer, and I'm gonna just literally tap, 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 and then tap, 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 tap. And then I'm gonna take my bronzer powder and just kind of dust off my jawline area. I didn't pick up more products. I'm just kind of dusting my face. This also helps eliminate the flashback. The girlies have been using powdery pink, like this baby pink color, bubblegum pink color called Foxy. It's from the brand CAO. And also, I am a blush on the nose type of girlies, and into the forehead a little bit. Okay, we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna go back in with my pressed powder and kind of just, yeah, there we go. Tone her down a few notches. It's really, oh, there we go. It's really cute. Do a little on the eyelids just because I feel like that's really pretty. I'm just gonna show you how I typically get my powder going. So I use my same foundation brush that has a little bit of the foundation on it. And I kind of just blend it together, and then I'll go back with my blush brush if I need to go like that. You see what I'm saying? Cute, real cute. Bronzer, and we are gonna snatch our nose a little bit, and I always blend it into my eyebrows. Spray a little bit. Spray a little bit. I'm gonna do my lips, my lashes, and I will be right back.
What's 6 plus 2? 1 plus 7. 8. It's 8. It's 8.
If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and save. Let me know that you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.